Welcome back to the Celtic Soul podcast, folks. Thank you for tuning in again for my weekly therapy session with Glasgow journalist and all-round good guy, Michael Pringle. Michael, I'm just back from a little break and you're about to head off on one with the children. You're heading for Disney. I was in Spain. I have to say I had a lovely time chilling out. Not much talk about Celtic, but came back yesterday and straight back into it. And we have so much to talk about, even in the week since we last spoke. But how have you been this past week?
I've been good, mate. I've actually been doing a wee bit of manual labour this week, helping a friend out, so some painting and stuff outside. But the weather was great, so so it was quite refreshing. And you're saying about the news in the last week or so, the last hour, I see that the season ticket renewals have opened, so I see mine's has went up again slightly, but mine's is still one of the cheapest on the ground. But I think it works out. I just had worked out there, and it's 35 quid a game, no. So that's if you attend all the games, no. But we all miss one or two. Well, not always, but some is tend to miss one or two a season now, for various reasons. Whether that be boycotts or whatever, or family matters or whatever. So but I've had a good week, and I'm looking forward to next week as well, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. Um, it's going to be another big one. We keep saying that it's a big weekend, it's another cup final, and it is. I'm just hoping Hibs are knackered after their exploits against their city rivals last week, where they played so long they played long enough with 10 men, but to play for 9 men for almost half a game was quite remarkable that they held out for as long as they did. No, but it was always coming. I think with 11 men they might well have no won the game then to taking something from it, but that's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? But I said before last weekend that Rangers were favourites. Maybe it would be Hearts that dropped something, and not all three teams at the top. There was only 2 weekends or 2 match days that everyone had won. So it turned out that they didn't all win again. Well, two out of three did. So us and Hearts. So I sort of play for, but something's got to give this weekend. Hopefully it's not us. It gives anything. Hopefully we can get the 3 points, get the 3 points we need at Easter Road, and then something's got to give at Tynecastle. Somebody's got to drop something. So I don't know which who you would favour dropping points and that. I've heard some people saying they would like Hearts to win. I would prefer it ended in a draw so that both are dropping something. No, the last thing I want is for Hearts to win again this weekend, because we're running out of games basically. I know we've still to play them, but there's some tough ones still in there, and it might be that we drop something. So you don't want Hearts to keep winning, because at the end of it, you'll just run out of road. No, if that's the case, so a draw would be ideal for me. I think. No, um, I don't know what your own thoughts are on that, but something's got to give anyway. So we're going to be nearer. If no nearer the top, we're going to be further away from Rangers if we win on Sunday at Easter Road, early kick-off and stuff. So and after that, I'll actually be flying to Paris while the Hearts and Rangers game's kicking off. So when I land, it might be maybe half time or so. So I'll be frantically looking on my phone to see what's happening and see if I can follow the game on Twitter or something. So aye, see see what sort of news comes through for that. But it's going to be a big week again. So we'll see how it goes. No, we just got to keep doing what we can and getting the 3 points, and then see what happens elsewhere. So
Yeah, I've just put a blog up on the website, and it is the heading is another tension filled weekend ahead.
that is
But
indeed.
it's really up to us, because if we win all our games, we've said it, we win the
Aye,
league. But
yep,
regarding the Rangers Hearts game, I'm trying not to think too much into it until we play Hibs,
aye. We need
uh,
the points first and foremost. That
because
sort of
I,
matters.
I I
Nothing else
just
matters. It's irrelevant if we don't. No.
and then I suppose a draw, you know, is a good result. You don't want to see Hearts winning. If they do win, well then, and we beat Hibs, well then it's down to a two-horse race.
Mm.
So but again, it's like last Sunday, I flew into Spain and I was getting a bus, and I checked in for the Rangers game, and they were 2-0 down, so I couldn't get onto the BBC to listen to the game, but I was able to get onto a Rangers YouTube channel, and
I watched it.
they were just relaying the scores coming in, and when I went to 2-2, so by the time the bus got in and I was heading up the road, I was walking up the road, so I was just checking my phone then, and then Motherwell scored, and I let a kind of a shout out.
Aye.
Much to two old age pensioners' shock as they stood across the road, because I went, oh, sorry, and then I stopped off for a pint and just followed the rest of the game then on social media.
I watched
have to
that.
say,
No,
I did celebrate. I celebrated with a bottle of beer, and
Right.
then you keeping an eye as well on the Hibs game, and Aaron McCusker takes me at half time, and he was saying, down to 10 men now, blah blah blah, and then when it went down to 9 men, it's inevitable, isn't it, that they're going to break down.
The Motherwell, the Rangers and Motherwell game, I watched it, and first half I was like, Motherwell could have been 3 in front by half time, but as soon as Rangers get back into the game, which was quite quietly after the restart of the second half, I just thought it was an inevitability about them equalising, though. And one of my pals had phoned me, and he says, "What's the score?" And I says, "I know it's 2-0." And I went, "It's 2-1 now." And I says, "Rangers are in the ascendancy." I says, "So don't be surprised if they equalise." And so it turned out, and I thought, Motherwell going to throw this. No, they've run out of steam. But to be fair to them, they kept playing football and they kept pressing. And I mean, that's twice they've went to Ibrox this season and dominated possession. Dominated. They've had the majority of the possession, I probably should say, but it's not a flash in the pan with our manager by any means, because he keeps showing that he can get probably an average squad, and he's turned them into a really good side and playing some great football. It was. If you're a Motherwell fan now, you must be buzzing, no? Just watching them.
And they've also 2 players in the Player of the Year awards alongside Hearts, which is none of the Glasgow teams in it. And really, like, even if you're picking a Player of the Year of Celtic, you would be struggling for someone that was absolutely outstanding. There was no one.
No.
There's been flashes of players during the season, and one of those flashes is happening at the right time in Maida.
Oh, aye. Yep.
Another great performance leading the line.
Yep. Aye, and I mean, obviously, I never watched the game for the weekend, the previous weekend, where Maeda closing down the goalie, so it happened to Keelan Adams at the weekend, and he was just too fast for him, and thought he had more time than he did, and there you go, goalkeeper sort of caught in no man's land, and bang, you're one up. That's what's been missing for him all season. I don't know what it's been. If his head's just been elsewhere, if he's just need that wee extra bit of motivation when it's coming towards it. And I mean, there must be somebody in the coaching staff must be drumming into them that, look, this can still be a monumental season, so to speak. But he's coming good just when we need him. And we're looking a bit stronger elsewhere. It was good to see Alistair Johnson coming back into the side as well, no? So this as we keep saying it now, that it's great being this positive week after week now, after such negativity for so long in the season, for so long during the season. So many weeks we were just talking about the negative aspects, and there was just sort of no light at the end of the tunnel, it seemed, no. But if we win this title, then it's in spite of the board. It's not because of them. It's in spite of them, because absolute acts of self-harm that for the board this season. And fair play to the players to get their heads back up and go on with this when they could have easily just completely shut down for the season. and for the coaching staff for getting him there, for Martin O'Neill, Maloney, and Fotheringham for making sure that they keep going. And lastly, for the fans who've kept going as well. And the noise at Celtic Park last week was phenomenal, I thought, for what normally a standard league game. No, I thought it was great. Could have still been better, I think, but it was noisy, and wow, it just seems as everything's come together at the right time. So I know we've got a reduced allocation for Easter Road, but hopefully the support will be noisy and the team will feed off that as well. It's not the easiest place for us to go, but hopefully we can get the result that we need to take it on to the following week. And wow, it's going to be big games again the following week. Three
none bigger than this week, Michael. None bigger than this week.
Aye. Excuse me for sort of looking
don't be
further ahead
looking too far ahead. No, you're not allowed
I should
this
know
season.
better. I should know better than that.
Martin O'Neill was named Manager of the Month for April, and in a video interview with Celtic TV, he spoke just like you, Michael. He spoke about the welcome the fans gave the team on Saturday, which he said he hasn't seen in a long time. So that was a great positive for the players coming in. He spoke about the players, and he spoke about his coaching team, and I thought he was very complimentary to everybody around him for the award he received. Now, if you look back, Michael, we were unbeaten in April. We scored 12 goals, conceded 4. We had the 6-2 obviously game. We're in the cup final. We had a 2-1 away to Dundee, St Mirren 1-0 at home, and then we had last week's 3-1 at Falkirk. But as I said, you don't look too far ahead, but May is a much tougher month.
Aye, I mean, we've got the top four sides, so that's what.
And away to Motherwell, you spoke about Motherwell there. We're away to Motherwell, but I just thought I thought last week it kind of proved that like there's going to be still twists and turns because if Hibs don't get the players sent off, obviously it's a different game. Motherwell, coming back into it, they showed an awful lot, and their manager's been linked with the Celtic job.
I wouldn't be against that happening. To be fair,
I was just going to ask you, what's your thoughts on it?
Definitely. I think he's got a bit of experience in the league now as well, so it's not as if he's coming in for a foreign league, maybe in Scandinavia or something, where he doesn't know the league and doesn't know the pressures. He'll know what it's all about now. The football he's going playing, if he can do that with such a limited budget and a small squad of players like that brought in for pennies, basically, then what could they do given the resources that Celtic have got? Although I know we're not prone to spending a lot of our resources at times, but I would definitely. I would have no qualms about bringing them in. I don't think. I mean, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. It doesn't work out. But it wouldn't be for it wouldn't be because of his football philosophy or anything like that. Maybe would be that he's hindered for those above. You know what I mean? Or, not a big name, but it looks as if he's got what we need. Definite identity about his team and the way they play. I don't think Motherwell fans would be too happy about us talking about poaching their manager right enough, but I would definitely, because who are we going to get? I mean, who are we going to get for elsewhere? I really don't know. I don't know what sort of market we'll be fishing in now. And after this season's appointment, Wilfred Nancy, I don't think we can afford to go with somebody like that doesn't know the league. I think it really needs to be somebody that knows Scottish football, a bit about Scottish football. I know you've got managers like Postecoglou and stuff that didn't know the league particularly well either, but I think he was a student of football, Ange. I think Ange, although he had never had any experience of playing or managing here, I think he's one of these managers that he's got his eye on everything that's going on across the world. No, I don't think he came in blind. I think Nancy came in blind. I think he just came in with an expectation that he could do it regardless with his football philosophy and whatever happens locally or here in Scotland didn't really matter. His philosophy would have overridden everything. But I definitely wouldn't be against it. Watching Motherwell this season has been a real not so much a real joy for me, but it's been a real joy for their fans. And I think with the budget and the quality of players we've got, with a few additions and with a decent budget, I think he could do really well for us. No,
yeah,
and I think
he's been the kind of defiant of the season managerial. And but if you think back to the year before, it was Jimmy Tillane. Jimmy Tillane started off on fire at Aberdeen. I remember we drew with them in Celtic Park, and they were all down celebrating in that corner. And then they hit a dip. The Motherwell hit the dip, but they were able to bounce back. They hit a little bit of a dip.
Yeah.
Aberdeen didn't seem to really, but then he delivered the trophy, right? But now he's out of a job in the second season. So
No, he was out of the job before that, was he not? Or was he?
No. He was.
Well, we hammered them 6-0 just after that. League draw, the league draw you're talking about.
Yeah, we're kind of a second string team up in Pittodrie. It was a lovely sunny evening, if I remember.
So we beat them convincingly in the League Cup, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then
so there was signs that it wasn't quite. I mean, they didn't look like world beaters. I didn't think Aberdeen. Everybody sort of knew they'd fall off, I suppose. This season, the same was expected of Hearts, and the same was expected of Motherwell. But I think Motherwell showed again. I mean, the results, they weren't getting the results. So prior to the weekend there, they had a few weeks that they didn't get great results, but they were still playing the same football. And I think Askew's shown that it's no a flash in the pan, because he's played us off for Park. We had to play that game. We beat them last month. I think that was one of the few 90-minute performances we've had for the Celtic team this season, and it had to be to beat them. And they've went to Ibrox twice and dominated games, and won one of them and were unfortunate in the other not to win it. So I don't think it's a flash in the pan with him, whereas telling obviously there's a new manager bouncing, he came in, they hit the ground running, and they went on a winning run, and it lasted for a long while. But but there was always that doubt that would be maintained, and so it was proven. But but I see what you're getting at. But I think it's you're comparing apples and pears.
I'm just being devil's advocate.
I don't want to bring any oranges into it, but apples and pears are fine. So.
I've honestly, I haven't heard any Celtic fans saying that he wouldn't be a good fit. I've yet to hear an argument that that he wouldn't do a job. But again, he seems a cool enough character. But
it's not a big name, but maybe there's a lot of Celtic fans out there that want a big name in, but a big name doesn't guarantee success either, as we've seen in the past. You know what I mean? So. I don't know. Maybe Neil Lennon will get it in the showers at Hampden after the beat us.
Again?
I shouldn't say that. Again. It's seriously tongue-in-cheek here, but I wouldn't put anything past the Celtic board, to be honest.
Yeah, and another thing, you mentioned the season books there. So the renewals has been stretched out. I think that's late enough, isn't it? May 29th for your renewals. So they've obviously, they know that... The collective have an initiative to delay before you pay. Can you see many people, or have you spoke? I haven't spoke to anyone that has hinted to me that they're going to give up the season books.
I have spoke to a couple of people. I don't know if their thoughts have changed in recent weeks, because obviously when you go back in Saturday and everything's sort of almost rosy in the garden again, you're like, well, it's almost as if everything's forgotten about, but we've still got the same underlying issues that were there. They've not disappeared. So I have. So I don't know if their thoughts have changed, but I have spoken to quite a few people. I've spoken to somebody a couple of people that have stopped going this season entirely. So I don't know if they've changed their mind, but I spoke to one person in particular who's not going back. He's like, "No, I've had enough." Just because of the way that he's been treated this season in general, he's like, "I'm not renewing." So I know a couple of others that have said they're not renewing, and I don't know if their minds have been changed, but because they were back at the game at the weekend and stuff. But it's easy. It's quite easy once you get out of the habit of going to the football to just stop going. But I say to them, but you can't change anything if you're no. It's easier to change things from within than it is for sitting outside the perimeter or on the periphery. You know what I mean? If you're a season ticket holder, then you can still have some sort of effect, be that be protesting or whatever. You can still have some sort of effect or affect. Sorry, but the same things are still there. I mean, I find it quite cynical for the board and all that they're talking about a fan engagement officer. What is the SLO? If no a fan engagement officer, I just think it's mere smoke and mirrors for them.
So you're speaking about the interview, another Celtic TV interview that Brian Wilson, the interim
Of course, it's
chairman,
Celtic
done.
TV. It's not going to be anywhere else, is it?
Well, I'd love for your man last week that made the speech from STV, the political correspondent. I'd love him to interview him now. I've said that. Remember we spoke last week about
Bernard Ponsonby.
yeah, wouldn't it be lovely to get him down and question them? But I listened to the interview, right? And the first, he's such a politician, Brian Wilson. You know, the first thing he said was, "We've got unity," which was what I wanted when I come in, and like. Yeah, we've unity. We've unity till the end of the season because we're all pushing for the title and the cup final as well. So, and we all know that once the football is finished on the field, that's when the talking is going to reconvene. And if they don't deliver what people want this season, it's going to be worse next season. And I've said that to you last week, Michael. But you look, he did say that there would be board refreshments, but then he mentioned Peter Lawwell stepping down, and was the other director that stepped down? Tom Allison. Tom
Allison, yes.
So yeah, but like I think the fans want to see. They definitely want to see a new CEO, and they want to see a new chairman.
It's just deck chair shuffling. I think that's what people are fed up with because it's the same faces time after time. And when nearly these non-executive directors should move on after a few years now, and fresh faces should come in so that there can be some sort of meaningful scrutiny of what's going on. But that's not the way it is. It's the puppeteer and the puppets. I think that's the stooges, and unfortunately there's more than three of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the fan engagement officer was Mark Hargreaves the way they do things. Know what I mean? So
yeah, that's
sort of engagement.
Yeah, so this fan engagement officer, I thought we had JP, but maybe they think JP is too close to the fans.
Well, he should be. I mean, when you speak, I know other people. That, I don't know other individuals or friends that are supporters liaison officers elsewhere, including in Europe, and I feel that the Celtic, John Paul Taylor, the Celtic supporters liaison officer, is restricted almost in his dealings with the fans because I mean, I think we obviously had to put one in place because of UEFA guidelines, but Celtic still wouldn't have one in place if that wasn't the case, if they weren't forced to. And I think that John Paul at times is working with his hands tied behind his back, and not only that, his feet are tied together at times and all. And he's a great guy, fantastic guy, he's a very approachable, personable guy and stuff, and he's really helpful. But he's not allowed to fulfil the role in the way that he should. And I think even though he's in agreement a lot of times with the supporters, when he reports back to the club, then it doesn't really make much of a difference at all. No, but he's a great guy and he works his hardest for the support, but it falls on deaf ears a lot of times up above, no, and that's just because of the hierarchy of the club, because they're no forward enough thinking, I don't think.
Yeah, but can you imagine if they did say, right, we're going to go now for someone from who is active within the fan scene, right?
Mm.
So for who's involved in the
I'll tell you who it
supporters
won't
club.
be, definitely. It won't be Jeanette Findlay, that's for sure.
That's for
Because they
sure, right?
really don't like Jeanette.
But
She's
see if they go for someone,
a
right?
thorn in their side.
That's within the, let's say, supporter scene that wouldn't be you know, wouldn't go
Another,
along with them. We'll say, right? Just say,
aye.
just say a bit left field, right?
Mm.
Well, then what you'd have then is you would have all the fans going, "Oh, he's a turncoat." But I would prefer
Aye.
to see someone in there that I trust, that
Aye.
has a bit of a track record. Now,
Yeah,
you said it won't
but
be Jeanette, right? But do you know where I'm coming from? And
yeah,
that would be a real step forward to say, look, we're bringing him in, right? And then that person can say, look,
or her.
oh, her, okay, oh, her, right? Or them.
Yep.
And the person can go in and then have like the independent view in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and then come back with but if it's just someone that's appointed, even if it's someone that comes up who was the fan liaison officer for another club, and they put them in because he's worked with such a body, there's just going to be suspicion there.
Aye.
No matter
it needs
who
to be
was into
somebody that won't be compromised easily. And there's always going to be that suspicion that once the day go in there, that the day becomes softer, their approach becomes blunted when they're dealing with the people that they're dealing with, that make the decisions over and above them. So there's always you're always going to get that. I remember Matt McGlone when he went to write with the Celtic View, people saying he sold out and stuff. You're always going to get that sort of thing. For sure, it's not going to be anybody for the ultra scene. That's for sure. It's more likely to be. I don't even know who it would be, but aye.
I don't think it will come from within the support.
I'll be not a yes man.
I think they'll go a bit left.
Or
they'll go a bit right field rather than left field, and they'll bring
aye, definitely. I think
they'll bring someone in maybe with a university's degree in fucking
somebody for St Aloysius
conflict management.
One of Michael Nicholson's pals. You can do that, can't you? What about this for a job? Or somebody's son. Somebody's son.
And they said they're going to bring back the fan forum, which you kicked out.
Oh, dear man.
They actually, like, for listeners that haven't heard before, we were in the original fan forum as because back then there was only really the fanzines, wasn't it? And maybe a couple of websites, a couple of podcasts, and you asked a few questions, and you were told you can't ask them type of questions.
I think Mr. Law threatened to throw me out at one point. He did actually threaten to throw me out, and then asked me to stay behind with the headmaster behind. Can you stay behind? Okay. Detention. I got detention. No. To be fair, it was a bit of a misunderstanding on what I said and what he thought I was saying. No, so. But I felt like getting up and leaving at that point, and I was like, "What am I doing sitting here with these assholes?" Excuse me my language, but it's like, "What am I doing sitting?" And to be fair, there was a few back me up. Joe Miller was one of them. Yeah. He was representing not review, obviously, and a boy for Kerrydale Street. But some of them, I was like, they have no interest in anything apart from themselves and their own sort of. Their own agendas, know what I mean? So,
and then
I got on all right with Peter after that. To be fair, no, I was said hello to each other. We were quite civil after that.
And then all of a sudden, Michael, everything stopped. We went. It was like it's like there with the fan media. Everything stopped. They renamed it and didn't invite us back.
That might have been doing to me, but I don't think so. I think it was for a long time afterwards.
Yeah. So. And then they're talking about the fan forum now, they're going to rejig it. But he said they're going to go on the road, like a kind of and if you remember back, I remember Peter Lawwell and Neil Lennon coming one summer coming and doing the roadshow to sell season books, basically.
But there's no surprise that the season ticket renewals are out now, and this is when they're saying we're going to re-engage with the fans, we're going to have an engagement officer, we're going to have a fans forum all back, everything's going to be great again. The fans are back. What more could you want? Roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up.
Yeah,
give your money.
And now, in fairness, he did say that they were looking at what other clubs in Britain were doing. You know, well. I hope they're looking at Liverpool, because they give the fan media access. The same fan media outlet that you gave access to Lennox Centre, but you wouldn't give it to us.
Funnily enough, the Liverpool fans are all protesting as well now. We've been labelled entitled support, self-entitled and stuff like that the last year because of the protests and stuff that went on. Liverpool won the league last year, and they're protesting. I mean, they had a yellow card protest last week that everybody seemed to join. So, peculiarly enough, it just shows that it's not only us that are self-entitled or allegedly are thought to be.
Yeah, but the thing is, we want to see all these changes coming. You know, summer's coming quickly. The close season's coming quick. It's going to be a short summer to get a manager in place, players in place, get a pre-season, and then depending on where we're playing, we could be starting in Europe in a couple of weeks after the end of the season. So.
What was it you said about not looking too far ahead? You have no option but to
but
you need to plan ahead, but you really need to plan ahead for every eventuality, and unfortunately we don't seem to do that. No.
Yeah.
We just can all see
I was listening about Hearts. They're in year one of a 10-year plan. It's gone well for them so far, right?
God help us when we're in year 5 or 6 then, if that's only year 1.
And like Celtic is just like this is the first thing we've heard of any type of a plan. Is this interview?
Aye. We're in year 10 and no having a plan, I think. No, that's where we're at. What plan?
So the weekend, Michael, right? The weekend you did say, right, we both agreed that, you know, the Hibs game is so important now to get 3 points. Made it back to his best, but Alistair Johnson came off the bench. How good was that to see him coming on?
Great to see him back, and I just thought hopefully he gets to the end of the game without getting injured again. I was just starting to fear he was going to just overexert himself, because he's that type of player. I mean, he's not like a player that plays at 75 or 80%. He's full on. You know what I mean? And everything he does, whether it's defending or going forward, but it was great to see him getting that time under his belt. Another week of training, and with these games coming up, I'm not sure if he'll start again at the weekend, or if he'll again see a period of the game, maybe the last half hour or whatever. But for these games coming up, it's really going to be crucial. We have as many players as we can, especially players like him that are first choice.
Well, as Tommy Johnson said a couple of weeks ago in the podcast, because he's played with Matt, and he said, you know, the first thing he'll do on Monday morning is he'll check when the players come back in. He'll check who he has, who's fit, and who he thinks. And if the physios and the medical staff give him the go ahead, I think he starts.
He might well do. I was just thinking of sort of match fitness. Well,
he looked sharp enough, didn't he, for a fella coming back?
I would start him if there's no doubts about him. Then obviously with Anthony Ralston's not even the first, not even the second or third choice these days, to be fair. But fair play, Anthony Ralston. He had a great game at Hampden last week, and he did all right again. And he did all right again there at the weekend. And what about the fullbacks? The goal scoring for the fullbacks, absolutely incredible the last couple of weeks. I mean, the goal for Tierney at the weekend was a stonker.
Cracker.
Almost, I don't know if it was almost as good or better than Ralston's the week before. Two brilliant strikes. My wife's phoning me here. I think she's going to give me the reminder that I need to go and pick my children up.
Okay, well, do you want to wrap it up then?
Aye, a couple of minutes. She's just harassed me. Thankfully, I put it on silent, so it's just buzzing.
Well, she's probably saying that I'd have to keep you talking all day.
She's probably just reminding me.
Yeah, and then if we do get the result, it will be an interesting bank holiday Monday. I know you'll be travelling and you'll be trying to catch up, but I'll certainly be getting the popcorn and the
something's got to give anyway. Somebody's got to drop something. That's the good thing about it. Huh?
Yeah, it's looking in from the outside. Even people are talking to me about that wouldn't normally, just say.
It's a must-win game for our City rivals. That's for sure. If they don't win that, then I've got to come to Celtic Park next week and beat us.
Yeah.
And hope that other games go in their favour. So it's a big game for them. Hearts can afford to drop something. I mean, they're the only team probably that can afford to drop something. Although don't want to. Home advantage for them as well. So it'll be a tough game for both sides through there, I think. We'll see what happens. Sure, there'll be plenty of incident in the games over the weekend.
Yeah, we normally finish off, Michael, with going down into our memories. We spoke about Brian McClare. But I see Danny McGrain, who was in that team in '86. One of the best fullbacks we ever had, if not the best. I see he's I think he's 78 today or 76. It's his birthday. Right. It's his birthday this week anyway. I think he's 2 years older than Martin O'Neill, so he must be. I think O'Neill's 74. He's 76. Right. So you must have some fond memories of watching that man play.
Oh, aye, definitely, man. Danny McGrain was one of my favourite players as a Wayne, so to speak. I just epitomised everything that was great about Celtic back then. The only thing that was missing for his game was what our current fullbacks have got as goals. I think Danny only scored 2 or 3 goals in a Celtic jersey, but everything else, I mean, going forward, he was almost like a winger at times. No, he did great delivery and stuff like that as well. Tackle with both feet, could play on both sides. You know what I mean? Just a phenomenal player and guy. He was just, and he gave so much for so long to the club. I mean, he had diabetes, which was really unheard of in sort of sports players and athletes back in the days. He had to overcome that, and then he had a couple of serious injuries as well. Came back, strong as an ox. It was just a fantastic one of the few world class players that we had through about that time. I think him and McStay, I think, were world class. We had some great players, but they two were phenomenal, I would say. Although I must have a word for Frank. I just love Frank McGarvey as well back in the late 70s, early 80s. When he came for Liverpool, which was a huge signing for us back then. I just loved his never say die attitude and the fact that he just ran his heart out. He was just one of the players. But Danny McGrain was like, he just could run and run forever. And I seen him against Ajax, sort of getting. That was the first time I really saw him vulnerable. Was against Jesper Olsen, who was a sort of lightning winger who played for Ajax when Cruyff was back there in his latter years, and that was the only time I really seen him getting a roasting. Danny, any other time he could take stand his ground against anybody, but he was getting into his sort of later years then, and Jesper Olsen was a lot of whippet. He was really, really quick, and gave him a really tough time. And that was the only time I really seen him looking vulnerable defensively, But it didn't matter because we won over the 2 legs anyway, So Olsen went on to play with Manchester United after that.
That's right, yeah. Danish international.
Yes, Danish international.
I done a Celtic AM as guest of the Irish Association at one of their dinners because they had a lot of Celtic players over and they asked me would I go down and do something in the afternoon. And I remember, I forget all the players were there, but I know I was doing Jackie McNamara and Paddy McCourt together, but they asked could they go on before Danny McGrain, right? Because they said Danny, they wanted, he was top billing. Mm-hmm. But they went missing when they were supposed to come up. So Danny came up and they arrived back into the room, and Danny, I think they went to get a drink, and Danny was on stage, and Jackie got up and he said, "How can you follow that?" But I thought Danny was. I'd only ever interviewed him once, and I thought he was witty, charming, intelligent, and he had the audience in the palm of his hand, even ones that wouldn't be because he was the guest of honor at that dinner.
I could do a entire show with you about Danny McGrain if I go back out his games and his titles and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I do not have time today.
But not today. Just finish off on another story there. Frank McGarvey was a regular at Celtic AM. He'd done the Johnny Doyle special for us. But Frank dropped myself and Henry in his walk van to Celtic Park one day after Celtic AM. And that was the most funniest trip I've ever had to Celtic Park. What a legend. What a lovely guy. And sadly missed by us all. So we'll leave it on that, Michael. Thank you so much. Enjoy your holidays. And I'll speak to you next week.
Thanks, Andrew.
And thanks to all the listeners and viewers. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're on audio, thank you so much for listening. Hail, hail, and keep the faith.